Hi there and welcome back. It's a good sign that you're still sticking around with me. And here's the reward. It's getting really interesting because we have our eye complete and we start rigging now. And for that, I need some little stuff I need to do. I need to get all in 0 position and check the axis if everything is all right. Looking good, and now we can start. I will first show you how to set up these sliders. So let's create a rectangular shape, move it up 250 maybe, and change the size to 200 by 200. So why is this 200 by 200? I can show you. I have a second rectangular, which will be 20 by 20. And if I move it around, you can see in the coordinates that it's 100 in the max always. So if you have something like that moving around, you always have 100 as an extreme, and it's coming in pretty handy if you have an pose morph which consists of 100% in the max. So this is kind of cool, and it's easy to work with anyways, because it's 100, right? So let's add a protection tag under right-click Cinema 4D and protection, and we're going to limit the movement in X and Y because we don't want it to fly around in our scene everywhere, causing havoc and mixing it up. So now we have this perfect moving joystick that's always sticking in 0 in the Z axis. Another thing we need to have is a two-way slider. So this was the four-way slider. We need a two-way slider. Let's put it 150 to the right and change the width to 10. And we need to adjust the protection tag. So with the two-way slider and the four-way slider, we need to rename those accordingly. So this is going to do the eye rotation, and it's a frame, and this is also going to be a controller, and this is the upper lid frame and the upper lid control. Another thing I like to do, yes, I missed that one. Let's add those two to a new layer, which is please not pink, and rename it frame. And now we can lock it so the frames are not accidentally selected when I select all the sliders. Since we're going to have a ton of sliders, it's handy if you don't have accident selections. Okay, let's unlock this one once more, and now we're going to create a lot of nulls to clean up the entire scene. So this is going to be where we put the rig, and this is going to be where we put all the meshes, right? So those frames are going in here, and the meshes are going into here. Good. And before we link everything, I want to create more nulls. Kind of a fetish of me. No, it isn't. And right now, as you can see, the pivots are always lining up correctly. We need those. So everything is rotating in the right direction and not rotating into a wrong pose or something. So I tend to create nulls to be edited by the rig, so the rig doesn't really move the meshes, because if you have a different character and you want the eyeball, for example, to be exchanged and you directly connect the eyeball, you break the rig, right? So I tend to use a null here, and the null will rotate the eyeballs, and you can exchange everything that's inside the null. So this comes in handy too. For the eyelids, I want them to be rotated alongside with the eyeballs, and I want them to be able to blink. So I also do two nulls. I separate those two movements. And now select those and go to Tool, Naming Tool, and replace upper with lower. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, now put in the lower and the upper where it belongs, like this. You need this kind of hierarchy. This kind of hierarchy is correct, and let's get started rigging. With the rigging, let's create under Cinema 4D an Espresso tag, and let's get started by choosing the drivers. So this eye rotation and the upper eyelid is going to be later, and as you can see, there's one frame missing, so I'm going to add this one to be the lower lid frame and the lower lid control. And here we are. Good. And the eye rotation control is going to rotate the eye rotation. It's going to rotate the upper lid, and it's going to rotate the lower lid. Okay, and the upper control and the lower lid control is going to control the upper lid. Oh, it's going to control the blink of the upper lid and the blink of the lower lid. So we have our inputs and outputs correct here, and we need to connect them in an according way with range mappers. So let's get started by choosing what we have here, and it's going to be the coordinates, right? The x-axis and the y-axis. And it's going to be driven by the eye rotation is going to be driven by the eye rotation control, and what will be driven, it's going to be the p-axis and the h-axis. So we add the h and the p. Same for the eyelids, h and p, and also h and p, like this. And for the blink, I guess it's kind of a wild shot, straight from the hip, but it could be the rotation P. So let's connect this one. And let's see what the range mapper does. It actually maps different ranges of numbers. Who would have guessed that? So we have a real number here, 0 to 100, or minus 100 to 100 plus, and we have rotation here. So we have an input range, we will leave the user defined, and for the output range, I'm going to select degree. So I have a rotation. So let's connect this one and type in our minus 100 and our plus 100, and let's say minus and plus 45. Let's connect this too, and let's take a look what we did. I will hide the eyelids for a second. So this is good and this is wrong. So we need the Y to be reversed. I could just hit the reverse button, or I could change the numbers. I tend to use to change the numbers because I can't always, it's easy to oversee that you have hit the reverse and then you get mixed up. So right now this is really looking good. Let's change it to change it to 0. That's the way I had to lock the frames. So we got 0 here. I will unhide everything and we're going to add the blink. So we need more range mappers for the blinking. Here we are. And the upper eyelid controls y-axis and the lower eyelid controls y-axis. Is going to make the blinking. Here we are, like this. So this is going down and this is going up. And as I told you in the introduction, I would like to have the rig being animator friendly. So the lower one is going to be reversed again, like this. So if I zero those out, I can open it up and close it. As you can see, it's closing far too much, so I'm going to change this one. I don't want minus. Let's see. Oh, that's totally wrong. Yeah, it's still the same. Let me just check. Something like that, maybe. And I would like, let me just take this back to the center. I would like minus 90 to 0. Yeah, that's more like it. Let's do this. This is already the right one. Whoops. Let's check. Yeah, that's looking good. I can have this extreme pose here, which is really okay for a cartoon character. He's actually able to do this. And I can have nice blinking. Good. I could also limit this over there by changing those values to, I don't know, 10, 80, minus 80, 10. So I don't have this one and would be still okay. Okay, let's quickly close this one, and I want to color those. So we get to the basic, automatic, and choose red. Something like that. In the next lesson, I'm going to make the eyelids move along a bit with the eyeball. So see you in the next lesson.